The captive in the cell, the prison ship. Black Spear floated silently in deep space. It was dark, cold, and full of secrets. Most who worked on it never asked questions. But Jace, a young human engineer, wasn't like the others. Jace had taken the job because he needed credits. After losing his family in the Mars riots, he just wanted a quiet life. Fix machines, get paid, stay invisible. But something was about to change. One day, while repairing a broken power conduit in the lower decks, Jace noticed something strange. A thick steel door with a faded red warning sign. High-level biological containment. Do not enter. But the doctor wasn't fully locked. Curious, Jace looked around. No one was there. His heart beat faster. He tapped a few commands on his wrist device and opened the door slightly. It creaked loudly. Behind it was a small, dark room lit by a weak blue light. Inside, chained to the wall, was an alien girl. She was young, maybe his age. Her skin was soft lavender. Her long hair shimmered like silver silk. Her wrists were bruised from the tight shackles. She didn't look dangerous, but her golden eyes glowed faintly. As soon as she saw him, she pulled back in fear. Her voice was soft and broken. Please, I don't call them, please. Jace froze. He had never seen her before. What was she doing down here? Why was she locked away like this? I'm not here to hurt you, he whispered. I work maintenance. I didn't know this cell existed. The girl trembled. Her clothes were torn, her arms weak. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. She didn't speak again. Her eyes begged him silently. Jace stepped inside carefully, pulling out a protein bar from his pocket. He tossed it gently toward her. She hesitated, then grabbed it quickly and ate like she hadn't tasted food in weeks. Her hands shook. After a moment, she spoke again. They want to use me. For breeding. For war. Jace blinked, unsure what he just heard. She looked at him now, eyes locked with his. My people are nearly gone. I'm the last of my line. My blood. It makes strong offspring. They want to sell me, breed me, use me. Jace felt sick to his stomach. He knew the prison ship did illegal things, but he didn't think it was this bad. I didn't know, he said softly. I swear. The girl's voice was weak but full of pain. They think I'm just a tool. A weapon. But you? She looked at him closely. You're human. You're different. He didn't know what to say. Her gaze held something powerful. Fear, yes, but also a strange kind of hope. Then, her next words froze him in place. Show mercy, human. My body will give you powerful offspring, she said, her voice trembling. Jace's eyes widened. I'm not like them. I won't touch you. I just wanted to help. A tear rolled down her cheek. You helped. Already. No one else ever did. Not even once. Silence filled the cell. The hum of the ship's engine felt louder now. What's your name? Jace asked, sitting on the floor near the door. She hesitated. Valari. Okay, Valari, he said gently. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll bring more food. Maybe a blanket. Her lips trembled. She looked like she didn't believe him. Why? She whispered. Jace thought for a moment. Because no one deserves to be locked up like this. Not even an alien. For the first time, Valari gave a weak smile. But Jace didn't see the shadow moving in the hallway behind him. Someone else had heard the door open, and they weren't going to stay quiet. Her story. His choice blood. Jace saw it on the floor the next day, fresh, dark, and smeared across the hallway near the cell. His chest tightened. Something had happened. He rushed down the corridor, heart pounding. The heavy door to Valari's secret prison was shut tight again. The keypad had been relocked. Worse, a new guard post had been installed outside the hallway, empty for now but clearly temporary. Someone knew. Jace waited until the shift change and used his override code again. His fingers trembled as he opened the door. Inside, Valari was still there, but she was different. A deep cut ran across her cheek and fresh bruises marked her arms. One of the chains had been replaced with a thicker one. Her hair was messy, but her golden eyes still glowed when they met his. "Yuko came back," she whispered. Jay stepped closer, whispering, "What happened?" "They found the food you gave me," Valari said, her voice hollow. "They thought I stole it, so they punished me." Jace clenched his fists. He had only wanted to help, but now she had suffered more. He knelt beside her, pulling out another small meal pack and a folded blanket. "I'm sorry, this is my fault." "No," Valari said softly. "It's not. You brought me kindness, even if it cost me pain." I remembered what kindness feels like. She uncurled a little, leaning her head against the wall. "You asked my name. Now I want to know yours." "Jace." She smiled gently. "Jace. I like that." He sat down beside her, watching her eat, slowly, carefully. Her every movement showed pain, but still she ate. Still she tried to smile. Then she looked at him again and said, "Do you want to know why they keep me alive?" Jace nodded. Valari took a long breath and began. "I come from a planet called Zarin Tal. My people were not fighters. We were scientists, healers, dreamers. But long ago our blood was changed. To survive, to adapt. Our children were born, stronger, faster, more intelligent." Jace listened, eyes wide. "Our enemies feared us, so they hunted us, captured us, used us." Her voice dropped. "I was born with the rarest trait, the gene of legacy. It means that my offspring will inherit all our strengths. The empires believe that if I breed with the right species, the child could be more powerful than any known being," Jace whispered. "And they want to sell you off for that?" Valari nodded slowly. "To the highest bidder." She looked at him again. "But I don't want to be a tool, Jace. I want to choose. I want to live." For a long moment, silence filled the room again. Jace spoke at last. "We have to get you out of here." Valari blinked. "What?" "I'm serious. I can reroute the power, override the cameras, but it has to be soon." Her voice trembled. "Why would you do that for me?" Jace stood up, eyes burning with anger. "Because they treat you like cargo, like an object, and that's not right. You're not some machine. They can't own you." Valari smiled again softly. "Then, maybe humans aren't all monsters after all." As Jace turned to leave, she called out, "Jace, if we escape, I will owe you my life. And if my body ever brings forth a child, I would want it to be with someone like you, someone with a soul." Jace paused, stunned. But then he nodded, saying only, "Get ready. Tomorrow night, we run." The dangerous escape plan, he almost didn't make it. The hallway had motion sensors now. Cameras, even armed patrols. Someone on the ship knew a secret was leaking. Jace waited in the shadows, his heart racing. His chest felt tight, as if every breath might give him away. He clutched the stolen key chip in his sweaty hand, knowing one wrong step could mean death. Not just for him, but for her. He whispered under his breath, "Just a little more, just a few more steps." Then finally, he reached the cell door. Inside, Valari was awake. She sat upright, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She looked stronger. Her wounds were healing faster than before. It was clear her alien body had begun recovering. "You're late," she said, smirking weakly. Jace smiled. "Blame the new traps." He handed her a slim piece of metal. "This is a pulse shiv. It can cut your restraints, but only once. Use it when I give the signal." Valari took the device carefully. "You got all this for me?" "Don't thank me yet," Jace said. "We still have to survive." He explained the plan in a low voice. At 03 SOAR, power to the lower level would shut down. Jace would divert patrol bots using fake maintenance codes. Valari would slip out through the duct system, meet him near the engine core. Then they'd reach Escape Pod Bay 4, where he'd stashed stolen access codes. Valari listened quietly, then asked, "Why are you risking everything? Jace looked at her serious. Because if I don't, I won't be able to live with myself. She touched his hand gently. Then I will not fail you, human. As Jace left the cell to prepare, Valari held the pulse shiv close and closed her eyes. In her mind, ancient instincts stirred, memories of her ancestors who once ruled the skies and stars. Tonight, she would no longer be a prisoner. Later, that night, the ship's lights dimmed. A low alarm rang across the corridors. Level 3. System. Maintenance in progress. Jace moved quickly, disguised in an engineer uniform. He slipped through checkpoints with fake orders and a data pad full of false reports. Inside, his pulse roared like thunder. Meanwhile, in the cell, Valari waited. The lights flickered 3 times. The signal. She activated the pulse shiv. With a soft hiss, the chains snapped open. Her wrists were finally free. Valari crawled into the ventilation shaft behind the broken panel Jace had loosened earlier. Her heart pounded as the narrow metal tube grew colder. Each movement echoed. One wrong sound, and she could be caught. She passed a vent and froze. Below her were 2 guards talking. Commander thinks someone's helping her, one said. Who'd be that stupid? The other laughed. Valari's fingers tightened on the metal grate above them. Her eyes narrowed. Then she moved on. Back at the engine core. Jace was already waiting, hiding behind stacked crates. He nearly jumped when the vent above him opened and Valari dropped down like a shadow. He whispered, "You made it." She gave him a quick smile. "I said I would." But there was no time to relax. The final part of the plan was the hardest. Reaching the escape pods without triggering alarms. As they ran silently through the ship, an unexpected voice echoed over the speaker system. Code red. Prisoner has escaped. All units converge on Section Delta 7. Valari's eyes widened. That's where we are. Jace cursed under his breath. Someone spotted you. Let's move. Now. They sprinted, boots slamming the steel floor, alarms blaring behind them. Just when they reached the final hallway, a squad of armed guards appeared at the end. Valari grabbed Jace's arm and whispered, "I'll hold them off, go." But Jace grabbed her back. "No, we go together." The guards raised their weapons. Valari stepped forward, her eyes glowing brighter than ever before. And for the first time, she fought back. Betrayal from within. The hallway lit up with blue fire. Valari's hands pulsed with energy as she unleashed a shockwave that sent guards flying across the corridor. Sparks flew from shattered lights. Alarms screamed louder and the air smelled like burnt metal. Jace stared at her in shock. "You didn't say you could do that." Valari was breathing hard. "I wasn't strong enough before, but now I remember who I am." They ran again. The escape pods were just one turn away. But before they could reach the door, a familiar voice stopped them cold. "Jace, stop." He turned, and his blood went cold. It was Lieutenant Marka, his closest friend on the ship. Marka stepped out of the shadows, weapon in hand. His eyes were hard, not surprised. Behind him stood 2 guards with stun rifles aimed at Valari. "You always had a soft heart," Marka said. "But this? Helping a genetic weapon escape? You've crossed a line." Jace stepped in front of Valari. "She's not a weapon. She's a person. You know this is wrong." Marka raised his voice. "She's worth millions, Jace. Do you know what she could sell for? I was going to make sure you got a cut until you went rogue." Valari's hands lit up again, ready to fight. But Jace knew this was different. Marka knew his codes, knew his tricks. He could end everything. Jace tried, one last time. "Don't do this, let us go, you don't have to." Marka fired. Jace ducked, the bolt missing his head by inches. Valari moved like lightning, disarming one guard with a twist of her wrist and slamming the other into the wall. But Marka wasn't aiming at her. He hit the alarm switch on the wall. Security lockdown engaged. The corridor sealed behind them. Marka smiled cruelly. "You're not going anywhere." Jace tackled him. The 2 friends struggled on the floor, fists flying. Marka was stronger, but Jace was faster. Years of working in tight ship spaces gave him an edge. Finally, Jace grabbed Marka's own stun gun and fired, point blank. Marka dropped, unconscious. Jace stood over him, breathing hard. Valari looked at him silently. Jace wiped his lip. He was my friend. Valari walked up slowly and said, "You gave him a chance. He made his choice." The escape door was now locked. They had less than 3 minutes before full backup arrived. Jace hacked the control panel. "We're not done yet." Valari placed her glowing hand over the circuit board. The metal pulsed with light. The door slid open. The pod bay was right ahead, but the betrayal had cost them precious time. And as they entered the final room, more guards were already running in behind them. Jace shouted, "Go! Get in the pod!" Valari pulled him in instead, both diving inside as a laser blast scorched the wall above. The pod closed. With a roar of thrusters, it launched into space, just seconds before the bay doors shut tight. Far away, the stars looked peaceful. But nothing about their future was certain. Jace leaned back, bruised and breathless. Valari sat beside him, eyes fixed on the stars. He whispered, "I just left everything behind." She looked at him, gently placing a hand over his. "You didn't lose anything," she said. "You found something new." Outside, the stars shifted. Below them, a planet came into view. A new home. Or a new danger. Fire in the stars. The escape pod was burning, not from the outside, but from within. Smoke filled the tiny cabin. Warning lights blinked red. A sharp alarm screamed in Jace's ears. "Critical systems failing, impact imminent." He coughed, covering his face. "We're going down." Beside him, Valari's skin glowed bright silver as she reached into the open control panel, trying to cool the overheating core. "I can slow it, but I can't stop it." Outside the small viewing window, a wild jungle planet grew larger by the second. Thunderstorms cracked across the sky. Lightning danced like claws across the clouds. Jace gritted his teeth and strapped himself in. "Brace for crash." Valari looked at him. "I'm not afraid." Then the pod hit the atmosphere. The sky exploded. Flames burst around the pod's shell. Metal screamed. The walls shook like they would tear apart. Inside, Jace screamed as gravity pulled at his bones. Valari held onto the seat with one hand, the other still glowing, feeding power into the pod's failing systems. The pod smashed. Through trees, skidded across the ground, then slammed into a rock wall and came to a stop. Silence. Smoke hissed from the engine vents. Jace groaned and sat up. His vision blurred. "Valari?" She was unconscious, slumped forward. Blood trickled from her temple. No, stay with me," he whispered, unstrapping her gently. "You're okay. You're strong. Remember?" He pulled her out of the smoking pod and into the tall grass. The sky above was full of stars, but somewhere in the trees, something watched. Valari blinked weakly. "We made it." Jace smiled through the pain. "Barely." But the moment didn't last. A loud growl echoed from the forest. Jace turned his head and froze. A massive, four-eyed beast stepped out from the trees. Its skin was dark green, armored like a tank. It stood taller than a hover tank, with fangs, longer than a man's arm, Valari whispered. "Predator species. Territorial. Very dangerous." Jace whispered. "No kidding." He stepped in front of Valari, shielding her. The beast roared. Jace pulled out the only weapon he had, a small plasma cutter. Barely useful against scrap metal, useless against a monster. He looked at her. "Run if I fall." Valari grabbed his hand. "If you fall, I fall too." The beast charged. Jace stood his ground. But just before it could strike, boom! A sudden bolt of blue energy blasted the creature from the side. Someone, or something, had fired a weapon. The beast howled and fled back into the trees. Jace turned. Standing, on a ridge above them were 3 aliens in black armor, glowing rifles in hand. One of them pointed. "There she is! The Zarin female!" Valari gasped. "They followed us!" Jace cursed. "They tracked the pod." The leader shouted. "Surrender the hybrid breeder now, and we might let the human live." Valari's voice was cold and sharp. "I'd rather die than go back." Jace looked around. One pod. No weapons. No backup. But he had one thing left. Courage. He stood beside her and whispered, "Then let's make them regret coming." Valari's hands started glowing again. Together they faced the ridge, two against an army, and for the first time, they fought not to escape, but to protect each other. The bond beyond species, he didn't feel the pain, only the warmth of her hand. Jace lay on the jungle floor, his shirt soaked in blood. A plasma shot had burned into his side. The alien soldiers had retreated after Valari unleashed a wave of light so bright, the trees themselves shook. Now, all was quiet. Valari knelt beside him, hands glowing bright blue. Her voice trembled. "Stay with me. Don't close your eyes." Jace smiled weakly. "You glow. Like a star." "Stop talking," she whispered. "You're bleeding too fast. My energy can heal, but not if you fade." Her hands pressed to his wound. A sharp heat filled his body, followed by a strange calm. It wasn't just healing. It was something deeper. She was sharing life force. Hers into his. He gasped. "You're giving me your strength." Valari nodded. "And more. When we touched, I felt something." "What?" "Our connection. It's not random. It's fate." Jace's vision cleared. Her eyes were shining, not just with power, but with emotion. "What are you saying?" Valari looked away, then back. "In my people's ways, when a bond is made during healing like this, it is sacred. It's deeper than blood, stronger than science." Jace joked lightly. "So, what does that make?" "Us," Valari answered. "Mates." He blinked. "Wait, what?" She looked down, voice soft. "My body chose. My energy chose. I didn't plan it. But I don't want to run from it." Jace laughed, even in pain. "You really don't do things halfway, do you?" She leaned closer. "You gave me freedom. You gave me trust. Now I give you all that I am." Then her voice changed, more serious. "But we are not safe yet." Jace nodded. He sat up slowly, pain lessening. "What now?" he asked. Valari turned toward the horizon. "Now we run, we hide, and if they come again, we fight." Later. That night, they found shelter in an old alien ruin, half covered by vines and moss. Inside it was cool and quiet. Valari lit a soft energy orb and placed it in the center. Jace leaned against a stone wall, slowly catching his breath. Valari sat across from him, her silver hair glowing softly. He looked at her seriously. "Back there, when you said we were bonded, you meant it, didn't you?" She nodded. "It's not like human marriage. It's older. My kind only bond once in life. We don't choose with logic. We choose with soul." Jace looked down. "You sure you want that I'm with me?" Valari stood and walked over. "You are brave, gentle. You risked everything for me. Why would I want anyone else?" He couldn't argue with that. She sat beside him, resting her head on his shoulder. "I feel safe with you." Jace wrapped an arm around her. For the first time, there was no fear between them, only trust, only the bond. But outside, something moved in the darkness. Far above the planet, the command ship of the enemy watched. A new order had been given. Send the elite hunters. The hybrid must not be born. And time was running out. Child of power. The child wasn't born yet, but the galaxy was already afraid of it. Deep in the jungle ruins, Valari's body shimmered with light. Her energy had grown stronger each day. Inside her, life stirred. A child not fully alien, not fully human, but something new, something powerful. Jace stood at the entrance, holding a crafted spear made from ship metal and jungle bone. His face was tired, eyes alert. He hadn't slept much, not since the warnings began. Strange lights in the sky, sounds in the trees, a message left in blood by a dying bird creature. They know they're coming. And now, they had arrived. Dear, air crackled. Thunder rolled. Jace stepped forward as the enemy dropship came down through the clouds. Black armored hunters, silent, faceless, deadly, landed around the ruin. 12 in total, each carrying energy blades and stun darts. Inside the shelter, Valari breathed deeply, her hand over her stomach. They're here. Jace turned his head. I'll stop them. Valari looked at him. You can't fight them all. I don't have to win, he said. I just have to protect you. The first hunter charged. Jace threw the spear. Direct hit. The hunter flew backward into a tree, but the others moved fast. Too fast. He fought with fists, rocks, whatever he could grab. For every one he knocked down, 2 more came. Blood ran from his cheek. His arms burned. His legs ached. Still, he stood, until one final blast knocked him. Flat. He couldn't move. His vision blurred. The leader of the hunters stepped over him and aimed at the ruin. But then, everything stopped. The sky cracked open with silver light. Valari walked out, eyes glowing like suns. Energy flowed from her body in waves. She spoke, her voice no longer soft but ancient. You will not touch my mate, or my child. The hunters hesitated, then attacked. She raised her hands, and the ground itself rose with her. Vines exploded, from the soil wrapping around their legs. Energy pulsed from her palms, throwing them back. One by one, the hunters fell. Some fled. Some never moved again. Valari collapsed beside Jace, breath heavy. It's over. He opened one eye. You really scare me sometimes. She smiled, tears mixing with sweat. You protected me. Now I've protected you. She placed his hand on her belly. She will be strong, Valari said. Stronger than both of us. He? Jace blinked. She, Valari said again with a warm smirk. And she will change the stars. Weeks later, they lived in peace, far beyond where the Empire searched. Valari's glow had faded to something gentle. Jace built them a small home from fallen ship parts and jungle stone. And one night, beneath alien stars, a cry echoed into the wild. A child had been born. Her eyes, gold like Valari's. Her skin, soft as dawn. And when she opened her tiny hand, the grass around her gently lifted. The galaxy would fear her, but her parents would teach her love.